Good evening children, welcome back. Welcome to Turito, the online classes for school foundation program in order to crack the IIT JEE as well as NEET examinations. As you know, I am your chemistry teacher and we have started working on the atomic structure, and in that case we have started focusing on the fundamental particles which are present in the atom. Okay. In the last class we have discussed about the electron discovery. Today let us focus on the proton discovery as well as the neutron discovery and what are the experiments that are carried out, and lastly we are going to compare all the three fundamental particles with respect to their masses, charges, etc. Okay. Yeah, let us proceed further. As we have discussed, atom consists of three fundamental particles: electron, proton and neutron. In the last class we have discussed about the electron. Now let us focus on the proton. Okay. So when you look at the proton, the characteristics of a proton, the same way what the electron discovery took place in the cathode ray, the discharge tube experiment, in the same way the proton were also discovered in the same experiment. Okay. Since there is a thought in the scientists that when there is a negatively charged particle is present in an atom, in the gas, automatically there must be some positively charged species also. Okay. So this concept led to the discovery of a positively charged species, and generally with the latest one or the most times used one is called as proton. Let us discuss what is exactly the proton and what are the positively charged species that are present in the gas. We are going to see all of these things one by one. Okay. So when you observe here, the proton was discovered in the anode ray experiment tube. Electrons discovered in the case of cathode ray experiment, whereas in the case of the protons they are discovered in the anode ray experiment. Okay. More or less the setup remain the same setup that what we have seen in the case of electron discovery, that is remain this experiment also, but only thing is that the way of the movement of the particle, the direction is just different, that is it. Okay. And anode rays, they are also called as canal rays. Okay, they are called as canal rays. They are even called as positive rays because they have a positive charge, and these are discovered by Goldstein. Goldstein discovered these protons. Okay. So let us first focus on what is exactly the experiment is and how we are going to identify the presence of these particular particles. Okay. Yeah, the same thing what we have seen in the case of electron, here also we are going to have a setup, a discharge tube experiment where one side it is connected to the vacuum pump, and we are going to have two metal plates. These metal plates are connected to the two terminals of the battery. Okay. One is connected to the positive terminal is taken as anode, the one connected to the negative terminal is taken as cathode. And one more thing you can clearly observe here that this plate is completely neatly given, but this plate is a perforated cathode. Perforated means the holes are made within the cathode, and here back side of this particular tube is coated with a fluorescent material, that is generally zinc sulfide coating is given at this particular end. Since the particle, as soon as they go and strike on the surface, they are going to see a spark, a light. Okay. So that indicates that something is coming and hitting, because these particles, the particles which are coming from anode and going toward the cathode are the positive rays or the protons, they are invisible, they are not visible to our naked eye. Since they are not visible to our naked eye, we should prove their existence. So in order to prove the existence, the other side of the tube is coated with a zinc sulfide coating, so that as soon as the particle go and strike there, a spark is produced. So that spark indicates that something is coming and hitting at this end. Since the protons were traveling from cathode to anode, they are named as cathode rays. And similarly, since they are shown, the charge present on those particles are found to be negative charge, and since there is the gas that is taken inside, when there is a negative particle in it, there must be a positive particle also. So the positive particle should go in a reverse way, and their presence should be identified. Just to show this, please watch this particular experiment, how it has been carried out. So a discharge tube is taken, one plate is made anode, so this is known as canal ray tube, and we have two chambers, this side and this side. Okay. This side it is metallic discs are used, metallic plates are used. One is anode, other is cathode. Anode is positive one, cathode is negatively charged one, and we are going to have a very small amount of gas in it. High pressure is maintained, low pressure is maintained, high voltage is applied across the battery. So here if you observe, some particles are coming this way and some particles are going the other way. So the green color particles which are going there, and as soon as they strike here, you can clearly see sparks are produced. Okay, that is taken as a zinc sulfide screen. And you can observe, even if you make a hole in the middle of the metal rod or the metal plate, they are going to be hitting there. And when we are applying the electric field, automatically they are moving towards the electrode having negative charge. So indicates that these particles are positively charged species. Okay. So in this experiment, what we are going to take? We are going to take a gas into this tube. The pressure is reduced to around 0.0001 mm of mercury. So a low pressure is maintained within the tube, and a high voltage of 10 to the power of 4 volts are applied across the electrodes through the battery. And as soon as we are applying low pressure and high voltage is applied, the gas which is present inside will undergo ionization. It will absorb energy and electrons will be emitted. And here if you observe, the particles which are shown in a pink color are moving from this to that side, and moreover here they have mentioned that this is anode. Okay, anode is a positive terminal here, and this is cathode. The other metal plate that we are using is cathode, it has a negatively charged one. So the particles are these particles are moving that way. So that is what we have discussed in the previous class, they are electrons. Okay, and if you observe the green particles are moving towards the the negatively charged plate, that indicates they are positive in nature. And moreover, when we are applying external electric field, automatically they are moving towards, or they are bending towards the positive terminal of the battery, negative terminal of the battery. It indicates that these particles are positive in nature. Okay, so these particles are positively charged particles. So as J.J. Thomson has carried out the experiment, that the particles are moving from cathode to anode. In that case, okay, they are known as cathode rays or electrons. So automatically scientists thought that when there is a negative charge present inside the particular gas molecule, there must be a positive species also. So in order to identify the positive species, the metal plate, of course, as the electrons are moving toward this side, they expected the positive rays to go the other side, and moreover they made the metal plate with some holes here and there, so that the particles can easily pass through those holes and can hit the surface. And here the surface is coated with a fluorescent material. As soon as the particle come and hit it, you can observe the lightning. Okay, so the light is going to be formed, or the spark is going to be appear as soon as the particles hit on the surface. So this clearly indicates the presence of a positively charged species also inside the particular material or the atom. Okay, right. So the positive particles, or the positive anode rays or canal rays, generally the proton is discovered in the anode ray experiment tube, and this is done by Goldstein. Okay, and when you observe the mass of a proton is found to be 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So here proton means it is the hydrogen with a positive charge. And one more thing we can expect in the case of cathode rays or anode rays if we observe. So here what we are doing, we are taking a gas into the discharge tube and applying the electric field across the metal plates. And when you observe in the case of electrons, if you observe the nature of or the charge of the electrons in the case of the cathode rays, what we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, the electrons, they are not going to be affected with the metal plate that we are using for the experiment. That is not going to be dependent on the gas that we are going to take in the discharge tube. We can take any gas. As I told you, we are taking one gas into the discharge tube and we are carrying out the experiment. So the experiment is carried out by taking any gas. Okay, you can take hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, whatever gas you want, you can choose it. Okay, so depending upon the gas that is selected, when you observe in the case of electrons, electron production or the formation of the negatively charged species or the negatively charged particles are independent of the gas that is employed in the discharge tube. That was the conclusion that was made by the using different gas materials from the discharge tube and employing different metal plates. So the nature of the negatively charged particle produced in the discharge tube experiment is independent of the nature of the glass, the metal plate that is used, and it is independent of the gas that is taken in the discharge tube. That clearly shows that the negatively charged particle, that is electron, is the fundamental particle of all the atoms. It is the fundamental particle of all the atoms. There is no doubt at all. But when you apply the same thing in the case of proton discovery, in the case of the anode ray tube experiment, okay, in this case by employing different gases we are going to get a different positively charged species. Okay. Of course, the formation or the nature of positively charged species does not depend upon the metal plates that are used, but it depends upon the gas that is employed in the discharge tube experiment. Okay. So, for example, if we are going to use hydrogen gas, as I told you, at such a low pressure as well as at a high voltage applied across the metal plates, across the gas, ionization of gas takes place. So, because of the ionization we are going to get corresponding positively charged species and electrons are given out. So, electrons are coming out and they are depending, the electrons are not going to depend upon the gas that we are going to use. For example, if I am using oxygen gas in this case of this experiment, so we are going to get the oxygen positively charged species with the liberation of electrons. So whether it is a hydrogen gas or whether it is a oxygen gas, the electrons are liberated. So electrons are found to be the fundamental particles, and electrons are not going to depend upon the gas employed in the discharge tube experiment. But in the case of positively charged species, if we are using hydrogen gas, we get corresponding positively charged ion. If we are using oxygen gas, we are going to get the corresponding positively charged ion, okay, cation, oxygen with a positive charge, hydrogen with a positive charge. Similarly, if we are going to employ nitrogen gas in the discharge tube experiment, so corresponding ion of the nitrogen along with the liberation of electrons can be observed. So if in all these examples hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen ionization process, electrons are common, okay. So whatever may be the gas that we are going to take in the discharge tube experiment, nature of these electrons does not depend upon the gas employed, first thing, okay. And second is that in the case of positively charged species, if you observe the positively charged species here the positively charged species is the corresponding hydrogen atom, H plus ion. Here the positively charged species is corresponding oxygen atom. In the case of nitrogen, the positively charged species is corresponding nitrogen atom, simple. Okay. So here if you observe, mass of the proton is different, mass of oxygen is different, mass of nitrogen are different. Okay. And one more thing you can observe here is that among all the gases that we are going to use, the lightest particle, among these ones, H plus is the lightest one. Okay. So the mass of H is less, so the E by M ratio we call it as specific charge. The specific charge is found to be very highest in the case of the hydrogen gas, and therefore the corresponding hydrogen with a positive charge is termed as a proton. Okay, it is termed as a proton. Proton means H plus. Okay. So here we are looking at only the smallest one, this particle only. We are looking at this particle 2H plus. Okay. H plus ion mass is found to be 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams, or we can also write it as 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. 27 kilograms. Okay. 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams, or 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. Okay. Right. So this is one point we can observe with respect to the proton. And the charge of the proton, since the charge on the electron is given as minus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs, here the charge on the proton is taken as plus value. Okay, it is plus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Okay. And similarly, if you take in terms of electrostatic units, it is plus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 electrostatic units. In general, when you look at the relative charge is taken as positive, plus 1. plus 1 is the charge taken for proton. Okay. So if you take perfect value, it is in terms of coulombs, it is 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs, or it is plus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 electrostatic units. Okay. So the values you have to remember, of course, these are the values. If you remove the positive sign and keep negative sign, automatically that is the charge of electron. If you are keeping positive sign, automatically that will become the charge of a proton. Okay. Proton in the sense, it is the species that is obtained from hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas giving the corresponding hydrogen with a positive charge, that is taken as a proton. Okay. Right. The specific charge of proton. Specific charge, as I told you, specific charge is the ratio of charge to mass. Ratio of charge to mass. So the charge to mass ratio is found to be 9.58 into 10 to the power of 4 coulomb per gram. Okay. So the value, if you observe the specific charge in the sense, it is E by M ratio. So E by M ratio of proton is found to be 9.58 into 10 to the power of 4 coulomb per gram. Okay. And mass of 1 proton, 1 mole of proton mass is found to be 1.0078 grams. Okay. So here if you say 1 mole, so 1 mole, whenever we say 1 mole means it is Avogadro number of protons. 1 mole of proton means Avogadro number of protons. Okay, Na number of protons. As we have seen in the case of last class for the electrons, Avogadro number is 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23. So here you can take it as 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 protons are present. These many protons are present. So 1 mole corresponds to Avogadro number of protons. So it has Avogadro number of protons. When you take 1 mole of proton, Avogadro number of protons, the total value, mass value is coming out to be 1.007 grams. 1.007 grams. Okay. And when you take the charge, as we have taken the charge in the case of 1 mole of electrons, here also in the case of 1 mole of protons, the charge is found to be 96,500 coulombs. 96,500 coulombs. This is also taken as 1 Faraday. This is also taken as 1 Faraday. So 1 mole of protons charge, if you observe, as we have discussed in the previous slide, that the charge of proton, charge on the proton is found to be plus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Okay. For 1 proton, the charge is that one. For Avogadro number of protons, for 1 mole of protons, it will be 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 into 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19. So we are going to get corresponding value as 96,500 coulombs. 96,500 coulomb is generally taken as 1 Faraday. In order to honor the scientist Faraday, the value 96,500 coulombs is taken as 1 Faraday. We will come across more about the coulomb 96,500 and the 1 Faraday usage in electrochemistry when we are going to discuss it. Okay, right. Let us proceed further, and if you observe the density of a proton is found to be 1.14 into 10 to the power of 14 grams per cc cubic centimeter. Okay. So these are the values that you have to remember with respect to the excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. So these are the values you have to remember for the proton. Okay, the charge you can remember easily with respect to the electron and proton. Electron charge is negative, whereas proton charge we are going to take it as positive. And when you compare the masses, the mass of 1 mole of proton is found to be 1.007 grams. Okay, whereas 1 mole of electrons mass value is found to be 0.0005 0.55 grams, or you can take it as 0.55 mg, milligrams, that we have discussed in the previous class. You can just refer the values, you have to remember the values are going to be used in further calculation purposes, okay, right. So once the proton was discovered, when the electrons are discovered, automatically scientists thought that there should be a positively charged species in it. The positive charged species generally taken it as a proton, and after that the neutron discovery took place. Why the discovery of neutron took very long time? Of course, neutron was discovered by James Chadwick in 1932. Okay, the reason for the late discovery of neutron is its neutral nature. In the previous proton or electron discovery, what we have seen? We have seen that the particles are moving from one electrode to the other electrode, and by using the zinc sulfide screen we can easily identify whether the given particle is a positively charged one or negatively charged one. So the charge present on the particle is used in discovery of those particles, okay. But here the neutron is neutral in nature because it won't divert towards any side, and it won't deflect toward the positive plate or the negative plate. So the deflection is not possible, and hence because of the neutral nature, so the discovery of neutrons took a lot of time, okay. So neutrons were discovered late compared to that of the proton and electron, and it is given by Chadwick in 1932, okay. Let me show you the same proton and as well as the electron discoveries. Just observe here, because of the charge that is present on these particles, they can easily move from one terminal to the other terminal, and thereby their presence can be seen with respect to the given electrodes, okay. So you can clearly observe here, vacuum pump, we are evacuating the total chamber, and one metal cap is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, taken as cathode. One is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, it is taken as anode, okay. And when you observe this one, yeah, potential difference is very high, high potential difference is applied across the metal plates, and thereby the particles can move, and pressure of the tube is decreased to 0.001 mm of mercury, and in that case some of the when high voltage is applied across the battery, particles are starting moving from one to the other, and they are moving in a straight path, okay. The same way the protons are also moving in the straight path, only they will deflect when they are going to be abstracted by something, okay. When we are applying external magnetic and electric field, then only the particle will deflect. Here if you observe, the electrons are moving from this side to that side, in the form of a pink color balls, whereas light green color balls are moving towards the other side, and you can clearly observe here, yeah, positive ion going toward that side, and it is hitting the surface where the zinc sulfide coating is there. So we can clearly see the sparks over there. So these are known as canal rays or the anode rays. When we are going to use a circular hole in the anode and cathode, in that case the anode rays will pass through it, and when we are applying the external electric field, they are deflecting toward the negative pole of the potential that we are applying. So it is taken as therefore the charge that is present on these particles is found to be positive charge, okay. Similarly, if we are going to apply the external magnetic field, if you are going to apply external magnetic field on these positively charged particles, the positively charged particles are going to deflect towards the north side, okay. So when we are using the external electric field in the case of electrons, the electrons got deflected towards the positive terminal of the external electric field applied, and when we are applying external magnetic field to the cathode rays, okay, in that case the cathode rays are deflecting toward the south pole of the magnetic field applied. In the case of these rays, that is canal rays or the anode rays, in this case the particles are moving towards the negative terminal of the battery, or when we are applying the external magnetic field, they will divert toward the north pole of the magnetic field that is applied, Okay, so the magnetic pole that we are going to apply, based on this we can easily identify the presence of these particles. Since the neutron doesn't have any particles, I mean they doesn't have any charge on them, since they don't have any charge, they are named as neutrons. Okay, because they don't have any charge, they are named as neutrons. Okay, so because of the charge that is not present on these particles, the discovery got delayed. Okay, and when you observe the properties, characteristics of these particles, neutrons are slightly heavier than protons. So when you compare the masses of these two, so the masses are coming out to be approximately the same. So here in the case of protons, proton mass, if we observe, it is 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. Similarly, in the case of neutron, after they discovered and when the mass was calculated, the neutron mass was found to be 1.675 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So if we observe these two values, so here it is 1.673 and this is 1.675. So only the difference is at the third decimal after the decimal point, third digit after the decimal point we have the difference. First two digits after the decimal points are same, 1.67, 1.67. So therefore we can say that when you observe the value of neutron, it is 5, so little slight more mass is expected from neutron. So neutron is slightly heavier than the proton. So when you compare with the mass of the proton and neutron, neutron is slightly heavier compared with the proton. The mass of neutron is found to be 1.675 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. If I want to express this value in kilograms, it will be 1.675 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. 27 kilograms. The specific charge as I told you, specific charge is a ratio of charge to mass. It is a ratio of charge to mass. Of course, the charge is, they are neutral in nature, neutrons are having neutral charge. So the charge is 0, so specific charge of neutron is coming out to be 0. Okay. Density, if we observe, in the case of neutron, the density is found to be 1.5 into 10 to the power of 14 grams per cc. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 14 grams per cc. Okay. And mass of 1 mole of neutrons if you take. So here as I told you, one neutron mass is found to be 1.675 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. Okay. If we are going to take around Avogadro number of neutrons, Na number of neutrons, so 1 mole corresponds to Na number of neutrons, that is Avogadro number of neutrons. So when we are taking Avogadro number of neutrons put together, what will be the mass? In that case the mass is found to be 1.008 grams. 1.008 grams. So 1 mole of neutron mass was found to be 1.008 grams. What is Avogadro number here? 1.6022 into 10 to the power of 23. So this value, when we are going to multiply with this one, these two are, when they are multiplied, automatically we are going to get the value as 1.008 grams. So 1 mole neutrons mass is nearly 1.007, whereas 1 mole proton mass, 1 mole proton's mass if we observe, 1 mole proton mass is found to be 1.007. So if we observe the values, 1 mole proton mass is 1.007 grams, 1 mole of neutron mass is 1.008. So the values, if we observe, the values are more or less same, a slight difference can be observed. Therefore we can say that the mass of neutron is slightly more than the mass of the proton. Mass of neutron is more than, slightly more than the proton value. Proton value is 1.007, whereas the neutron value is 1.008. Okay. So 1.008, 1.007. So the values are very close, but proton value is slightly more than that of the, neutron value is slightly more than that of the proton value. So these values we are going to use in calculation purposes, okay. So you have to remember these values. And of all the elementary particles that are present in an atom, which is heaviest? Neutron is heaviest, and it is least stable. When you compare the masses or the heavy nature, electron is the lightest particle and the neutron is the heaviest particle. We have discussed while we are dealing the electrons in the last class. Electron is the lightest particle, okay, because of its very low mass, whereas here because of the high mass, neutron is the heaviest particle. And when you observe the stability, neutrons are least stable among the three. Electron, proton and neutron, if you observe, among the three, neutron is the least stable particle. So least stable particle, but it is heavier particle, heaviest particle, least stable particle, okay. So these things you have to keep it in mind while when we are dealing with the examination. So they may give you among the following which is heaviest. So you have to take it as neutron, okay. Which of the following is the least, lightest particle among the following? So electron is the lightest particle. So we can compare the electron, proton and neutron in one single table with respect to the mass, charge and specific charge. We can correlate them with respect to the mass, the charge present on it and the specific charge that we are going to take. Specific charge is ratio of charge to mass, okay. Just to go through this table, I will explain everything, okay. Right. So if you observe this table, it is very clear that mass, if you take the first property, mass represented with a small m, and the unit in which we are going to measure the mass, if we are going to measure the mass in terms of AMU, in terms of kilograms or in terms of the relative masses, okay. Electron, proton and neutron are taken in 3 columns. Here AMU is the mass of 1 mole of the corresponding particle. AMU generally given with respect to the 1 mole of the particles, whether it is 1 mole of electrons or 1 mole of protons or maybe 1 mole of neutrons, okay. So with respect to the number, the 1 mole of the protons and electron, neutron, the mass is given in terms of AMU, okay. Right. If you look at the electron mass, what is electron mass? It is 0.0000546 after 3 zeros, okay. And if I am going to take it as in terms of grams, or if you are taking in terms of milligrams, we are going to take it as 0.55 milligrams, or we can take it as 0.00055 grams, okay. So it is the mass given for 1 mole in terms of grams or AMUs, it is 000546, okay. And if you observe the mass of proton, it is given as 1.00728, whereas the neutron mass is 1.00866, okay. So these masses are given with respect to the 1 mole in terms of AMUs, atomic mass units, or we can also nowadays it is using as unified mass, we can write it as U, okay. In terms of kilograms, if you observe, in terms of kilograms, electron mass is found to be 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kilograms or minus 28 grams, okay. It is given in terms of kilogram, the mass is given in terms of kilograms, so it will be 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kilograms. Whereas the proton mass, if we observe, we are going to take it as 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilograms. whereas the neutron mass is 1.675 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kilogram. Okay. So here the values are very low. You can just observe the value that is given with respect to the powers. Okay, it is minus 27, minus 27, minus 31. So the values are very low. So therefore we can take the relative masses. So if you take the relative mass here, I am considering the mass of proton as 1. Okay, 1.007, 1.008 also it is considered as 1. Okay. So in that case, what will be the mass of the electron? So the mass of electron will be 1 divided by 1837. So here we are giving it as 1 divided by 1837. So it is 1 divided by 1837. If you go on calculate it, the value is coming out to be very low. So low value is observed for the mass of an electron. So generally the mass of electron we take it as 0 for calculation purposes. Okay. And coming to the charge that is present on these particles. So if you look at the second property, charge units you can take in terms of coulombs, ESI, ESU, electrostatic units, or relative charge can be taken. As the charge was discovered to be 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. In terms of coulombs it is minus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19. In terms of electrostatic units it will be minus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10. Minus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10. And if you observe the proton value, so this is positive negatively charged particle, this should be the positively charged particle, so only the sign is different, just instead of negative you just keep it as positive, that is it. It will be Coulomb charge is 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19. In terms of ESU it is plus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 ESU units. And when we are going to take the relative charges, electron is taken as minus 1 charge, whereas proton charge is taken as plus 1 charge. And if you observe the neutron it doesn't have any charge, so it in terms of coulombs or in terms of electrostatic units or relative, the value is coming out to be 0 only. Okay, the value is coming out to be 0 only. So the value is 0 for neutron. So this value you have to remember. So most of the times for our calculation purposes we are going to look at the relative masses. Generally we are going to look at the relative masses, relative charges. Okay, relative charges and relative masses we are going to consider for our calculation purpose, so that we can easily do the calculation. We cannot take all these decimal digits after the decimal points. So if you take the relative value, that based on that we can easily go for calculation purposes. Okay, right. Now coming to the last property, that is a specific charge. What is specific charge? It is the ratio of charge to mass. So charge divided by mass of the particle. So here if you observe the charge we are going to take in terms of coulombs, mass we are going to take in terms of grams. So it will be coulomb by gram. We are going to take the ratio as coulomb per gram or coulomb divided by grams. Okay. And if for the electron if you are going to take minus 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs divided by 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. In that case the value is coming out to be 1.76 into 10 to the power of 8. 1.76 into 10 to the power of 8 for the electron. Similarly, if we are going for the proton E by M value calculation, in this case it is 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs divided by 1.673 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So when you go for calculating this one, we are going to get the value as 9.58 into 10 to the power of 4. Okay. And in this case, since the charge is 0, 0 by this mass coming out to be 0, so the E by M specific charge for neutron is taken as 0. Okay. And if you observe the E by M ratio of electron and proton, look at only these two values. For electron E by M value, for proton the E by M value. So if you look at these values and if you compare the two values, E by M values for the electron and proton, we are going to have electron value coming out to be highest, it is 10 to the power of 8, just observe. Don't look at this value 1.76, 9.58, don't look at that value, look at the powers of the 10, here the power of 10 is 8, here the power of 10 is 4. So automatically E by M value for electron is more compared to that of the proton. I think students you got the clear idea about the electron, proton, neutron discovery, their masses, charges and specific charge values. So please concentrate on this one and please note down this table and remember the values for which we are going to use for calculation purposes. Okay. So I think you have enjoyed today's class. We will come up with some more interesting topic in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.